January is fantasy recommendations.
Do 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 do.
I'll be talking about the magical element and the setting of each of these. The Two Towers. The Fellowship of the Ring is exposition heavy. If you've seen the movies, try Fellowship of the Ring, and if you don't like it, skip ahead to The Two Towers. Give Lord of the Rings a chance. Fellowship of the Ring is great. It has a lot of exposition, a lot of weirdness, streaking, and Tom Bombadil. It's worth a read. But if you don't like epic fantasy, if you don't like heavy world building, you have my permission to skip it. Setting pre-Europe. Magical element. Everything. It's a myth. Serafina. Magical element. Dragons disguised as humans. Awesome. Setting is heavy on the music, so I would say early Renaissance, late Middle Ages. This is an epic fantasy with just a skosh of paranormal. So if you don't really like paranormal, you still might like this. If you do like paranormal but don't like epic fantasy, you still might like this. 100,000 Kingdoms, written by N.K. Jemisin. It's an interesting epic fantasy that isn't written by a white person or a dude. Magical element, gods. Setting is not medieval and is not European. The Lightning Thief is a middle grade, goofy fantasy about a boy saving the world. Magical element, Greek gods, disguised as humans. Setting, contemporary USA. If you like fairy tale retellings, I highly recommend The Goose Girl by Shannon Hale. It is full of beauty and heart. Magical element, she can talk to animals. Setting, medieval Germanic Europe. What I'll be reading next. In a World Just Right by Jen Brooks. I'm currently reading this. This is a fantasy that is also a contemporary and a romance. Howl's Moving Castle. This is a funny fantasy that I will be reading. If you like this and haven't read Stardust, read that. If you like Stardust and haven't read this, read this. Diana Wynne Jones and Neil Gaiman are oftenly quoted in the same breath as great, humorous fantasy writers. A Darker Shade of Magic. This is a historical / urban fantasy that I am really excited to read because I feel like it will be somewhat like Neverwhere by Neil Gaiman. Final Empire. This is book 1 in the Mistborn series. I've never read Brandon Sanderson because I don't really like epic fantasy, but I'm told that I need to get over myself and read it. So it's on my list for this year. If you've never read fantasy before, I recommend starting with a standalone.